What is going on, Lunatic Fringe? Guess what? We've got movement in the Luna Classic price action. Is it a lot? No, it's just getting started. But I suspect that when I show you some data here, you're going to understand that we're at the beginning of the bull market, about a 2 or 3x coming from Luna Classic in very short order right now. The inspiration motivation for it, I don't know if it's positive yet. When you look around the ecosystem, just you got to build, and I don't know that we've done a sufficient enough job to build to attract as much capital as we could potentially. However, there are a few things out here that are going to make a big difference, so we're going to talk about all that and more. Make sure you hit the like button on your way in. Luna Classic, where it's at. All right, guys, before we get started, as always, trobits.com. It's a free service. All you have to do is engage with it, let the ads do their thing, and guess what? You will be contributing to burning Luna Classic. Yesterday, only burned 147,000, normally in the 160,000 range, so there wasn't a lot of activity yesterday. We have to get that very... Look, we could triple or quadruple this with the number of subscribers that we have here just on the channel. We could be doing a fantastic job of burning up to... we 10x that. That's over 1 million a day. And look, there's no protocols out here other than Binance right now that are burning that many tokens. So it is upon us, if we just use this appropriately, to turn this into something a lot more beneficial to the community and affect a lot more burns. Again, 147,000 yesterday was the lowest number in quite a few days, but it's all based on revenue. It doesn't cost you anything. All it takes is just a few moments of your time every day, and then you have to decide for your bag to just spend a tiny bit of time here educating yourself on crypto. I don't think the answer to that is yes, and if it is, you're not gonna make it. So go check out Trobits today. Lunk is favorable to Bitcoin, which is a good thing. As far as the rest of the markets at Commonwealth, the conversation really is about USTC right now and about removing the repeg and preventing the delisting happening. But boy, that guy's handsome. Is that Believes Crypto? The USTC isn't being delisted. Now, there's been a change in what Binance has said. Binance originally included USTC in the delisting process. Seems like there's been a reevaluation of it and that USTC is no longer on the list delisted. So that should cause a spike in price action. I want to say most likely we'll see something interesting happen there. We'll probably see some kind of positivity. Now, let's get into the price action. Tritium, Terra Tritium is now up 32%, having a nice little breakout right now. Not huge, but it is still a sufficient breakout for us to recognize, hey, it's got a lot of good movement going on right now. How far does it go? Well, I mean, that's complicated. There's only about 4,000 in liquidity. When you start to zoom out and you start to look at it from a broader lens, this is a significant breakout, but there's a lot of highs up here that we're about 6x from just the median of that last little run towards the beginning of the past year. So to see a nice little breakout here, kind of a testament to what I've been telling you guys for a while. And just like that, we're done with CoinHall again today. So guys, I'm not sure what to tell you about CoinHall. I would be using Terraport as opposed to CoinHall at this point. As you can see, it's down again. Okay, so governance proposals right now, the remove stablecoin is going to pass. Compensation, again, I still think this one's going to pass. 51 hours left. So we're arguing about money, and that's fine. But obviously, it would be better for all involved if we were to be part of, paying people for their work. And I think some people were saying, like, well, we're paying for the work if they didn't do a whole bunch of, and just add in whatever BS that you have to it. It's on you. You decide. And then, of course, make sure you validate with the people who support whatever it is that you think. Also, there is the signal proposal for USTC system implementation. Not going to go through, not even close. It looks like it OA. And that conversation is from BLV Labs about including staking in this, in case you... All right, now let's look at price, because that's what matters to everybody. Okay, so... I want to say every time you see big flows coming in, you see big moves coming. Pretty tight window here as you look at it, and you can see that, we've been for a while, we were just moving right in tune, lockstep with these markets. But that has changed dramatically recently, and I'm going to give you a reason. I'm going to show you right here. We had this big move, liquidity inflow, and then of course that led to a big move here, liquidity inflow, right? Now we've not matched this chart at all until just recently, which means that we've fallen in line. We were, I guess, maybe an anomaly, if you will, in the broader market, but now we are matching what the broad market is doing. And the broad market, what it's doing right now is this was a pump towards the end of last year, which led to the big pump that we had at the end of the year. Then we had the massive drawdown right here and the massive drawdown right here. Now, fine tooth comb this, and if you look at it from this context, I'm going to move this just a little bit so that we can have a better idea overall about what I think is happening here. Now, in kind of an inverse movement, I know, but stick with me on this. What we have not seen develop so far has been this liquidity inflow. This is the global liquidity index. This is money flow coming into risk asset. So assuming that we've got a top with a top, we've got a secondary top with a secondary top, we've got a tertiary top right here, right? And then we've got this little move right here corresponding to this move right here. Now, if that makes perfect sense to you and what you're looking at right now, if that drawing right there makes perfect sense to you and you can see the tops as they match up, then where are we? Well, there's that right there. That's probably that right there. Now, it could be this right here because it's the move here and then the move down here, right? So maybe this little previous thing that we had right there, maybe that wasn't the bottom here. That bottom corresponds to this bottom right here. Now, if that is the case, kind of clear that out. If that's the case, that this is this right here, then all we have is up only from this point. So if there's only up only from this point, what does that mean? Well, it means the same thing over here. It means that we are headed for a big run. Now, it won't be just nonstop. I mean, you can see here, there's peaks and valleys along the way. And how big that peak is, how big that valley is still going to matter. So generally speaking, we're in an uptrend. We're in a massive uptrend and we're ready for a phenomenal move. That's what it looks like. However, it should be noted that sometimes we get a big and aggressive move, but we don't get a big and aggressive move from the market at the same time. So if you just kind of look at this and you see that, we kind of got this move here, but if you notice here, a lot of this stuff doesn't match up exactly. Like, at best you could say, man, maybe this is kind of like right here, and if this little area is like right here, and this little area, of course, is right here. But you can see like the market structure just doesn't really match up. It's been kind of volatile, right? And some cryptos are like that, but that doesn't mean that we're not going to get a rip. That does mean that capital is going to start flowing into this market big time. And, to zoom out here and just get some clarity here, it's been a long time since we've had a bull run, of course, but, if you were to look at this in a different context and you were to look at it in a longer period of time, you would see a much bigger amount of capital inflow. At the top, the capital inflow was around $35.5 trillion into these indices. That was during the last bull run. It is very possible that what we're seeing right now is this right here is the start of a massive continuation of an uptrend. Now, it takes every day to see how it plays out, see if it flies. When you look at it from this context, here's the thing that you should know, that this trend line has been going for a while. And the question is, did it break out? Now, notice how I drew it right now. It looks like it broke out and it's just looking for some confirmation, and then it's going to bounce from there. But when you start to look at it from over here on a longer term chart, there you go. You see, like, it's really been a long time. And when you just kind of break it down so that you're touching as much as you can over here, then you do see it looks like it's really kind of a confirmed breakout. Now, let's go to just the tops over here. If we go to just the tops over here, top, 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 and we're missing this and we're missing this, and we zoom in and get granular on it, well, guess what? We're through that one up mightily. You can see right here, we've made that move, and it looks like we're bouncing, and we could be bouncing off of the top. Let me show you what that looks like. You can see right there that when we zoom right in there, that yellow is clipping above, and it's difficult to see, but just trust me. So it could be that we're ready for another big move. And by the way, I do think right here, I gave it a prediction here that we're going to go to 4.4 trillion market cap on this next surge, which would be a pretty good number. And I do think that that means that we're going to fulfill this box right here. Now that box right here, that is just the general trend line. And so what we're talking about right now is from where we are at this moment, we're talking about another 100 and let's call it 125%. That's just the start of this rally. And here's the thing. There's going to be a moment here where that rally looks crazy, and it's going to look crazy because it's got this right here. There is a moment where we're going to see just a crazy, 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 absolute parabolic sort of rip. Now, the other thing is, when you look at it, again, we're trying to get granular here on the detail. This right here, there was a tiny correction right there. Are we in that tiny correction? Because if we are, then that means that the last couple of days has been this little move right here, tiny correction coming for that, and then we're going to see some big, big moves over the next couple of days. So, you know, just predicting, again, I'm just predicting what could be happening right here. We can see a surge up here into 75. Again, we're not looking for that, right? We can see a surge up in here to the 9s, and then this is the breakout, right? And if we're good on that big breakout move, when that breakout move happens, that's when this thing goes crazy, right? That's where we get the extra bump, right? When money is just flowing, flowing, flowing. So that's what I'm going to be looking at. That's what I'm going to be watching to see, do we get that big move that I've been, fingers crossed, kind of hoping for, looking for, wanting to see play out. So I know I'm getting a little wordy on this, but I hope you guys are passionate about what I'm predicting as the next big move. And by the way, I am fidgeting around here trying to fit money flow into this. It doesn't work that way, but you know, so I get nervous when I'm talking. So there you can see that money flow, I think, is going to make a gigantic, like we're ready for this. And just the real question, the real honest question is this: can we break out above this? Can we get some confirmation, and then can we go? You know, that's the next piece right there. Can we absolutely send? And let's go look at some fine detail here, and that fine detail is 371 million market cap. Can we get back to $3.7 billion market cap? And the answer to that is obviously a resounding. Having the good capital inflow coming into the market, I think, would do wonders for making that happen. Continuing to beat down on the circulating supply will matter, but I do think that right now, and by the way, I just want to, I do have an announcement coming very, very soon, since everybody seems to have their hand in the quote-unquote cookie jar, as you will. We need to come up with different ways here to attract new people. So we do have something in the works that might end up being huge. It might end up being something big. But for me, this is the one that matters. Getting USTC repegged to LUNC. Now, here's the other part. One of the discussions that I had included somebody saying something along the lines of, well, yeah, but I mean, it doesn't matter if you repeg it or not. If there's no volume, we got to get the volume on the chain. Yeah, but nobody's going to do that until you repeg it. I mean, I don't think we all understand that every single time. Like, it is, if you build it, they will come. You know, we do that, and we say that in movies and shit like that. And, you know, the reality is, if you build it, people will come. Now, let me be specific here when I talk about that. When you build it, what do you build? Well, you build a platform for people to trade on. You build a platform for people to navigate the system on. You build a front end that allows for an enjoyable experience, right? So if we can do that, then that's a great start. Doesn't mean people will show up, okay? But what does mean people will show up is the next one on the list. And the next one on the list, to me, I'm not sure about you, because you might not be incredible. Woo! All right, anyway, just kidding. So this right here, big deal. So Weeks is having a Spaces, and they're going to give away a prize pool of 1,000 USDT for Juris Protocol. Now, what is happening here with Juris Protocol? Okay, Juris Protocol is listed. They're going to be listed on Weeks. This is going to be like the first real kind of meme coin, utility coin in our ecosystem with a listing. Okay, Weeks is that special place right now. And for those of you that don't know, Weeks has been my partner. You see it down there in the bottom left-hand corner. They've been my partner for a long time. We do a lot of trade volume with Weeks. If you want to trade Luna Classic futures or USTC futures or even Juris futures, if you want to trade futures, then Weeks is the platform. It's non-KYC. Non-KYC helps, okay, because that means that the government, big brother, they're not watching. You're allowed to some trading here without the intervention of the people who know better, as they say in the government. So Weeks is a great platform. So let's increase that volume. Let's get people over there. And guess what? If they get good volume, if Weeks does this, and this is a resounding success by embracing Luna Classic, then guess what? Embracing that success will only lead to positive things for our ecosystem, especially when the money comes flowing. That will give you a place. It will give somebody like, look, a simpleton, you know, a monkey in a cage like me, would give somebody like me who just doesn't have any idea how to buy crypto, an easy place to go buy crypto. And you don't have to, all you have to do is move money over to Weeks and you can start playing today. So fantastic opportunity. And I want to understate this. Juris Protocol is the lending arm of Luna Classic. When all of this is ready, when all of this is done, then at the end of the journey here, Juris Protocol is the new anchor protocol. That's the thing that drove people to the old Terra and Luna ecosystem, because that was the lending protocol that was paying you interest to use your money, and all you had to do was stake it and you know, basically become a validator on that network, and then boom, ta-da. So it's a lending protocol, and that's going to pay you for nothing. Like, all you have to do is stake, and ta-da. You can borrow money and you can continue trading, and that's what it's all about. And that's where people were making fantastic returns. So Juris Protocol is a big deal in this space, and I don't think people realize that yet, but I'm pretty sure that they will. But the easy place right now for you to buy some is going to end up being on Weeks. And again, this is long-term, I think, a game changer. What we need to do right now is figure out how do we get Garuda, which is the other big utility. How do we get Garuda X into this ecosystem? How do we get some of our other tokens into, how do we tokenize Weeks to the point that it is ubiquitous with Luna Classic? That would become the question. It does take you guys doing some trading on it, because, you know, if you provide the volume, they'll provide the platform. It's clear and evident at this point. Now, along with that, let's move on. Let's talk about burns a little bit, because burns have been just low. Now, we did have a tiny uptick at 25 million and 28 million, but let's face it, guys, that's not the 50 to 100 to 200. That's not the big moves that we've been looking for. Now, it's okay, because guess what? Going back to these numbers, we're obviously in that little bit of an uptrend, and we should be heading to clear out at least this trend. Now, look, this is not the end of the journey right there. This is just that next upwards mobility sort of move. Like, that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for this thing to break out up into this range right now. That's an easy 2x. That doesn't, again, this is not the end of the journey. This is just a nice little corrective measure. What I'm looking for right here is for a continuation of this, the global monetary flow coming back in, that liquidity index increasing exponentially is what I'm looking for. Now, if that happens, then, you know, we get back up to these old numbers where, you know, we were at 30, it was 35.5 was the top. So we could be looking at a crazy sort of flow that just continues to move money into these markets. I think that it's time that happen. I believe that that's going to happen right now. And what we're looking at right now is not even the end of that spike. That's just, there's going to be a continuation of that over the next bunch of days. And if that happens, then boom, the correction was right there. And now we're going to set off to the moon if the global monetary flow continued. So I hope that makes sense to you guys. I really think that if you look, this is, and it doesn't matter what crypto, but I'm passionate about Luna Classic. I'm passionate about a couple of different projects, right? And each one of those projects has a benefit that I enjoy or I like in some way, right? That I believe or create additional value to it as an investor. So Luna Classic is one of those. So I think that I'm right about this. I think I'm right about this global money flow. I think we haven't solved the Rubik's wheel, but this is a positive flow. And since we're getting, by the way, meme coins are popping off today about 10-15%, the bigger ones, which means that flow is going to start trickling down. So that also means that we're probably going to see some money come into this ecosystem. So it's imperative upon us right now to make it easier for people to just get in here and start trading. And that is the prohibitive factor right now, is getting in here and just starting to trade. So that's about to get simplified for you very, very soon. So, I'll let you know what the next step is. Again, we may have a big announcement here in the next couple of days. Early formation. By the way, project. It's not early formation of the project. It's early formation of the team. This project could be a game changer, and it could be ready to go. So let me know what you think in the comments down below. It's not financial advice, but I'm always right.